War Eagle, and welcome to another edition of Ever the Podcast. This is our get-together in audio format here in E2C Network's podcast to catch you up on the latest Auburn news, discussions, topics, things that you need to be aware of when you're spending time on social media or out and about around the water cooler to discuss and share the Auburn experience. All about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff here. If it's orange and blue, it is what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing on this episode, Ever the Podcast, episode 83. Today's date is December 16th, 2025. Closing in on Christmas and hoping you guys are having a great holiday and Christmas season. As always, we want to catch you up on the latest news and topics here. We're going to be hitting some football news in terms of finalizing the staff. We'll be talking about a commitment as well as some interesting news relating Auburn to mobile plans and mobile companies and some other things if we have some time to do so as well. So let's not waste any more time and start talking about it right now. Obviously, the big topic that has been of late around Auburn football has been the finalization, I should even say just bringing together and now finalization of an Auburn football coaching staff. Certainly that began with the hiring of Coach Alex Gullish, and so now he has brought in Cody Burns, he brought in a couple of other, he retained DJ Durkin, and we've been chronicling that on various platforms and content for you all throughout the process here. And as we sit today on this Tuesday, December the 16th, we can say with a definitive fact that as far as we know and as far as we can tell, all positions have been filled for Auburn football's coaching staff in terms of the assistant positional coaches. Certainly there will be more support staff, other things happening that people don't pay as much attention to, not saying they're not important, but certainly the things that people were looking to, who's going to fill this role, that role, that has now been filled. Well, let's talk about that final slot that has been filled officially. It was pretty much announced yesterday in terms of media reports, but announced today officially by Auburn. Tight end coach Larry Scott will be heading to the Plains to join the Auburn Tigers. Really interesting story with this one, that he is was the current head coach at Howard University and is choosing to leave to come to be the tight end coach. So he's some would say taking a step back in a sense. If you were a head coach and coming not only down to be a coordinator but then a positional coach, it would seem a bit of a step back. But certainly when you talk about Howard versus Auburn, you're thinking obviously power football, SEC football. So while it may be in positional name a bit of a step back, it's not necessarily the case because of how he is able to step in here into a situation that's probably a lot of people would like to be doing there now. But Larry Scott is going to be your new tight end coach and is the final piece of that puzzle across not just offense and defense, but the whole of the Auburn football coaching staff. We have chronicled the entire coaching staff, and even before this became official, on episode 154 of the Auburn Experience. We walk through each of those different hires and talk through them a little bit. If you'd want some more detail about the wholeness of that, I'm sure we'll be talking about that even more. A little bit more information for you about Mr. Larry Scott as the obviously head coach at Howard. Before that, he was tight ends at Florida, Tennessee. He also had offensive coordinator role there. He was tight end special teams also during that time at Tennessee. Miami is tight ends, running backs at USF. What's interesting about this is our head coach is coming from USF, but this guy also has so much time that he spent there as a graduate assistant, tight ends, offensive line, running backs in different time periods, right? So he's been doing his own thing away from that when Coach Alex Gullish was over there as the head coach. But coming back together, I guess, in the sorts, at least in their familiarity with USF, but now here at Auburn. Interesting choice. You've got a lot of former coordinators, people with a lot of experience that have been assembled on this staff, which I think is really intriguing to look like. And certainly it's just a soundbite, a story, a factoid, but I think it's something that may play into Auburn's favor, especially in this first year as this new regime gets set. So Coach Larry Scott, your new tight end coach, your staff is complete, Auburn football fans. Now the work officially begins on the roster and looking forward to 2026. Let's keep it in the football realm, the good vibes going everywhere. The 2026 class was announced several days and a week ago, with finalizing the early part of it. Look, it's a signing day, but there's a signing period where they can choose to come to Auburn. And also there's these elements when certain transitions or changes happen for teams. Windows open up for players to not only transfer, but in this case, be released from their letters of intent to go somewhere. So we have an individual that once was committed and signed to go to play for the Michigan Wolverines, but instead will now come and play, or at least he has committed. I don't think there's an official signing that's been announced yet, but a commitment from Bear McWhorter, flipping beyond the point you normally are used to the Auburn Tigers, who is an interior offensive lineman. We'll just call him an offensive lineman, but most people are going to expect him to play interior. Those are obviously highly coveted guys. You always hear about the offensive tackles and stuff, but those interior guys, if you can find some really good ones. Auburn's done some things like that, finding transfers and guys from different locations on the interior and been able to utilize them through different regimes. But Bear McWhorter is your next one. So your 2026 class technically was announced and already, quote unquote, I guess you'd say completed, but there are opportunities to add more to that. So that just only builds and adds that class. Certainly a lot of people were discussing, well, this one's not going to be as ranked as high or talked about as much because of the transition. Don't sleep on this class, because you never know. They may be the very thing that this team needed to get the foundation going in the right way, just because people who set rankings and stars and all that, which are, only best guesses, don't think that they are this certain caliber. Doesn't mean that they won't be as well. But there's your next one. Bear McWhorter is now an Auburn Tiger and part of the 2026 class officially. I want to talk about an interesting thing that I was not anticipating today. And I guess I shouldn't be shocked about this in this day and age of finding ways to fund your NIL programs and ways to fund other things as well. Just we're in this strange world of media combining with some of these other areas we're not used to. Like we've got War Eagle Plus now that you can have a streaming service solely about Auburn. Well, have you thought about a phone plan or a phone provider working to help facilitate and support Auburn Athletics? It's very interesting. So Auburn Athletics has announced the launch of War Eagle Mobile, and it's by Collegiate Mobile. First time I've heard of it, frankly. So obviously this is something that's been going on, which will be part of the T-Mobile, that's important, 5G network, a phone service designed for Auburn students, alumni, faculty, and fans. Basically, just if you're part of the Auburn family. Let's just put it right there. With competitive rates as low as $15 per month. And I'm reading a lot from the press release here. This is designed specifically for the Auburn family. Customers can take advantage of perks such as free charging stations at Jordan Hare. So keep that in mind for those charging stations that have been available for free already. And Neville Arena, as well as the ability to win VIP experiences such as facility tours, on-the-field access during games. That's kind of unique and something to think about as well. You got monthly payments on this, and the results of that go into an automatic contribution to Auburn Athletics, scholarships, student funds from the War Eagle Mobile program. So there you have it. If you are already a T-Mobile customer, I would assume this isn't a big transition for you, other than finding out how you can do that. WarEagleMobile.com. We don't get anything from them, just kind of sharing you a little bit about what's transpiring here. I didn't have this on my bingo card today. I'll be honest with you, thinking about that we would be talking about this today. It's quite interesting, to say the least, that War Eagle Mobile, War Eagle Plus, what else is going to be the next War Eagle thing that's going to be added to the equation? So not necessarily directly related to sports other than funding it, but something unique for us to talk about and you to be aware of in the Auburn experience space. That's going to do it for episode 150. Not 153. We're not there yet. On episode 83 of Ever to Podcast. We appreciate you joining us here. We want to hear from you as always. Our email is available at e2cnetwork@gmail.com. DMs are usually open everywhere. if you would like to contact us on social media. And I want to encourage you to check out the latest episode of our main podcast. If you're hearing this, you're probably already subscribed, but make sure you are. Episode 154. We got a lot of football talk in there, the schedule, and then the coaching staff being complete. Check all that stuff out. A lot to look forward to in 2026. Thank you for tuning in here. As we go, I want to remind you, the Auburn Creed asks you to do these things: do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. War Eagle.